ね、ジュの場合は
これはすごい綺麗です。何年間ぐらいこれをやっていますか？
12、3年。
ごめんなさい、お返して。私夢中で。
World peace and prosperity is something we all dream of. And learning about each other is a first step toward achieving that dream. Certainly, the friendship and trust of one citizen for another are what form lasting international ties. The Fulbright scholarships set up by the late Senator James William Fulbright immediately after World War II have played a leading role among Japan-U.S. cultural exchange programs. Many Japanese were able to go to the United States thanks to the Fulbright program. Today, there are many exchange programs that are financially supported by the Japanese and U.S. governments. In 1996, when Prime Minister Ryutaro Hashimoto met with President Bill Clinton, the two leaders decided to promote additional exchange programs to further strengthen the ties between our two countries. Today, on the eve of the 21st century, Japan-U.S. relations are moving toward even greater trust and cooperation. Exchange programs in Japan and the United States are becoming even broader in scope. High school and university student exchanges, assistant language instructors, young researchers, and artist exchange programs are only a few among the many in action. And some of the larger programs have as many as 2,000 people participating at once. Today, if people want to learn something from Japan, there's a program that can help them do it. Michael Winton is in Japan to study material surface structure as seen through an ultra-high vacuum reflection electron microscope. Put in simpler terms, he studies the surface structure of semiconductors. In other words, he's looking for ways to further increase the degree of integration to enable smaller and smaller semiconductor chips. The university is in a quiet Tokyo suburb, very convenient for both living and study. Winton is part of a Japanese government-sponsored exchange program, which allows him to spend a year researching in Japan. His scholarship will lapse in August 1997. Michael came from the University of California at Berkeley, and he chose the Tokyo Institute of Technology because of the international reputation of Professor Katsumichi Yagi in Winton's major field.
This holder, there's a motor here, and by electricity they turn around, and then this part moves horizontally in this way. Okay, and here's come.
来ないの？来ないの？でもしょうがない。In this research group, I'm very impressed by how hardworking all the students are. They seem to be very interested in what they're researching and put in long hours every day trying to learn about it. So I think that's really interesting. And also, what I find striking is there's a very strong interaction between the professors and the students in the group. Every day, we were able to meet with our professors and ask them questions and get advice from them. And the professors often are also very dedicated to the group and to the research, putting in long hours themselves, and often when they have time, joining the group for lunch in the office here.
The students and graduate students of the research group are all good friends, and Michael was able to fit right in. He says if there's something he doesn't understand, they'll explain it to him. And if there's a problem, everyone discusses it.
It's very good. Very good. Very different from American food, but very delicious.
飲んでくると日本語嫌だって言うからほとんど英語になるから僕は飲んだ時のコミュニケーションが一番英語の勉強にはなるんじゃないかなと僕は思ってるんですけど。
Professor Yagi, Michael's advisor, speaks of the international exchange program.
My personal experience to stay in foreign country was to stay at Arizona State University for a year. In that case, it was supported by Ministry of Education. So I hope he will expand his scientific career while staying in our institute and will have a chance to find another point of vision as I did 20 years ago.
During winter vacation, Michael goes to his friend's home in Okinawa. 3 hours flight from Tokyo, Okinawa is a subtropical island where the ocean is beautifully clear and the weather is always warm. Joe Tamaki was doing research at an American university a year ago. That's when he and Michael became friends. Okinawa has its own traditions and culture. One of the most popular sites, for example, is the Shuri Castle.
In a study, we have just a little in common. So we had a very little chance to talk about that, but we both like beer. So that's why we came so close.
Michael stays with Ryo's family. They take him to a typical Okinawa restaurant. The food and the music reflect Okinawa's warm, subtropical climate.
I would like to be involved in such a capacity that I could be dealing with scientific interests and findings and technology around the world, not just within the walls of one company or within the borders of a single country. So I think an opportunity like learning a foreign language and becoming used to a foreign lifestyle and culture is an excellent opportunity.
The city of Toyama borders the Sea of Japan. Unlike Tokyo, it is a city with abundant natural beauty. Michael Lewis is here to do research at Toyama University. He's an associate professor of Japanese history at the Michigan State University, here as a Japan Foundation Fellow. He plans to be here for about a year. His research project naturally concerns Japanese history. Professor Lewis often visits the Toyama Prefectural Archives. There he researches among materials that are difficult even for Japanese to understand. The theme of Professor Lewis's study is Local Structures in Japanese National Policies, a study of Toyama political culture. Simply put, He's studying the historical formation of Japan's local political structure. He's been to Japan many times before, but always for short periods that were insufficient for him to accomplish his research goal. That's why he applied for this grant. Getting out into the local areas of Toyama to clarify historical facts is a very important part of Lewis's research.
One of the interesting things about Buddhism is it's not only a religious institution, it's also a political institution historically. And this particular temple has been involved in uprisings and political events all the way from the Middle Ages forward.
He also spends a lot of time observing rivers and dams. He says they are an important point in his research. Toyama's local politics harken back to the pre-modern era, but Lewis's research focuses on the early 1900s, when a rice riot that began in Toyama spread across Japan.
The rice riots were led by women, older women, which I think in most people's minds we don't associate with social activism.
He says the use of rivers was very important in governing the people in those days. Water translated directly into harvest from the farmers. If crops failed, local governments fell. It comes down to how local governments met the demands of the farmers, cooperating or ruling as the situation required, as well as how they achieved a cooperative balance with the central government.
One of the images of Japan is that Japan is a tremendously unified and a kind of place where there's a very kind of homogenized culture and history. But the more that you study Japanese history, you'll find that that's not true. There's all kinds of variety and diversity, and you'll find people in different regions finding new approaches to solve their own local problems and also to work together with the central government.
Professor Lewis's field of study is unusual, even for Japanese. What's more, he says that once you're into the field, the breadth and depth of the subjects are amazing. The professors at the university are good friends. If Professor Lewis finds he doesn't know something, one of the professors is always willing to help. On the other hand, Professor Lewis is a treasure to the teachers and students at Toyama University. He has a fresh view of Japanese history. They say there is much to learn in his unique opinions.
いやまたね僕いつもね比較的なことに興味がありますがだけどちょうどねさっきおっしゃったことね日本だってこの頃ね植民地を獲得しようとしてましてねなので比較的に勉強するとね非常に面白いと思います。
Lewis's family remain in the United States, and he often prepares his own evening meals. Shopping at the supermarket is one of the things he enjoys in Japan.
Well, I have a short-term and a long-term goal. The short-term goal is quite simply to pull together the findings from my research and put it into a manuscript form to be published as a history book. So the immediate short-term goal is to pull together my research findings and produce a manuscript. The longer term goal, I think, is to continue my study of this region. I think the greatest benefit of being a Japan Foundation Fellow is the freedom that it gives the academic or the scholar to pursue that person's own research. Often other programs are conditional. For example, if you're a visiting professor, often you're required to teach at some institution. So that freedom of academic research, I think, is really the greatest benefit of this program.
Robin Stone is in Japan studying the art of koto playing. She's here for 3 months as a participant in the Young Artists Exchange Program. She lives in Roppongi, one of Tokyo's liveliest neighborhoods.
And they have my favorite thing, Godzilla. Let me do that again.
Robin is an assistant professor at the Berklee College of Music. Her major is rock guitar. Her interest in the Japanese koto was piqued because it's a stringed instrument like a guitar, but it has a characteristic exotic sound. Robin takes koto lessons at Office Soundpot, located in Setagaya, 40 minutes by train from Roppongi. Her teacher is Michio Yagi, who has taught many foreigners to play the koto.
How about today? Oh, I'm okay. Okay.
Koto sheet music is different. It's written in Japanese kanji characters. She says it was very difficult to learn.
とても熱心でいらっしゃいまして、本当に日本人ではない上達、日本人には見られない上達ぶりっていうんですかね。もう3曲曲を仕上げましたし、音感もいいですし、練習も本当に熱心にしてきますので、同じように日本人が練習したら本当にもっといいんじゃないかなと思うぐらいの上達ぶりです。
Robin takes time off from practice to go sightseeing. She can do it because Japan is so safe. She can go anywhere alone without fear of violence. One day, Robin attended her first koto concert. She was very excited, wondering what it would be like. Even today, the koto is played in traditional kimono. The people performing are, of course, professionals. Most of them teach koto. There are many concerts featuring traditional Japanese music, such as koto. Not as many as pop or rock music, perhaps, but there are still a great many nationwide.
You know, form has a lot to do with it, and I've noticed that in all the musicians that I've watched here, that the form is very much a part of the music, whereas in Western, if you watch a guitar player, they might be flailing all around, and it's a different type of form. Practice a lot. Try to practice a lot.
Stimulated by the professional performance she has witnessed, Robin turns to her practice with renewed fervor. Michio Yagi, her teacher, has suggested a recital to commemorate completion of her study in Japan. The day has arrived for Robin to show how much she has learned here in Japan.
I bring your homework.
Oh, thank you. Cool.
This is Midare. Composer is same.
Thank you. Really excited to bring the koto back to Berkeley College and Boston in general and use it in my rock band, which will be pretty fun. Here.
Yeah.
You have to open it up, though.
This is sweet?
I don't know.
I am sweet.
I know you are.
Congratulations. 初めから耳もいいしリズム感もいいので、まあ日本の生徒よりも何の問題もなかったんです。
It's been very interesting to learn about the Japanese culture and living here in Japan as opposed to just visiting on a trip kind of thing. And I got to see a lot of wonderful concerts with a lot of really great musicianship. I mean, the level of musicianship at all of the concerts I went to was very high. It was just very interesting learning an instrument that's very traditionally Japanese in nature. Domo arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you.
Oh! Yeah, right.
Tokai University is located on the Kanto Plain near Tokyo. Exchange programs are not just for researchers in difficult disciplines. They're also for college students having fun. These students are right in the middle of Japanese class. This Japanese language program, which started in the mid-80s, gradually increased in scope until it developed into a full-fledged student exchange program between Tokai and Wake Forest universities. The Japan Foundation supports the program financially.
Hi. All right.
Enjoy?
Oh yeah. Just studying hard, you know.
How hard?
Well, yeah, we have class 4 days a week, 3 hours a day. It's pretty demanding, you know, homework and all.
Japanese language is not the only thing these students study. Part of the program is study of Japan itself, Japanese culture. Each year, a nearby elementary school stages an event for the exchange students, mochi pounding, which takes place every New Year's in Japan. What's more, the mochi rice that's pounded was actually harvested by the exchange students themselves. The event is lots of fun, not only for the exchange students, but also for the Japanese elementary school students.
It's definitely something interesting. It's actually a lot more difficult to make than it looks.
Mochi tastes especially good after you've pounded it yourselves. The exchange program includes host families, of course, and lots more enjoyable exchange activities. It's only for 3 months, so time flies, and it's soon time to go home.
Well, they try to, they arrange the program so that when we're here, we interact with all of the Japanese students that are coming to Wake Forest next year so that they'll know somebody there, and then while they're there, some of the people who are coming to Japan next fall will be introduced to them. And it works really well because it's nice to know that somebody will know you and show you around and be nice to you, so it helps a lot.
A lot like spending time with my friends in America. I mean, everyone is, we get together and we talk, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer to understand what we are saying to each other, but we're all human beings, so we always have a good time. It's a lot of fun. After I graduate from Wake Forest, I would like to come back to Japan and teach in the JET program, so yeah, in the Tokyo area somewhere. Yes.
The programs we've introduced here are only a sampling of the many underway. As we said at the beginning, there really is an infinite variety of exchange programs, and Japan's government is committed to supporting youth exchange programs. Person-to-person trust and friendship are like rays of light penetrating the dark. In the future, new exchange programs between Japan and America will begin. These programs should not stop with improved relationships among Japanese and Americans. They should continue to grow until they encompass the entire world.
This was a program sponsored by the Government of Japan.